My name is Liana. I'm a Latvian. I was born in Riga, in the Latvian capital, and towards the end of the war, we were escaping from Latvia, running away from the coming in Russian army, because my father was under a cloud from the Russians. Before he was already a couple of times in prison in, under the Russians, because he was singing patriotic songs in the street. And so we left, we went first to Poland by train, because my father was during the war, he was an electrician, but he joined the German gendarmerie. He was a policeman in the railways. And so we went by train, not by ship, to Poland. First because my mother's sister and her family lived there. But when the Russians came closer, then we went to Austria, because I was ill with bone tuberculosis in the hip and the bones. And the only place that was known to us, there were sanatoriums, they were treating bone tuberculosis. It was in Austria, in Steiermark actually, in the Alps. Well, I remember when we were in Austria. Well, the first one was every day at around 2 o'clock, a carpet of English planes, bombers, used to come over the city, because there was a textile factory where we lived, and they were throwing bombs on the factory. But it's funny that not a single bomb ever got the factory itself. It was falling everywhere else except. I remember before we managed to get in a shelter, when the bomb started falling, that whistle coming down. And then if you heard the whistle, they said that it's not over your head, it's somewhere further away, that you know that bomb isn't on top of you. And we were under a mountain in a wine cellar. It was a huge wine cellar. I think it was for the whole city. They'd grown wine there in the surrounding hills. It's Kleinmünchen near Linz. And there were a lot of people in there running from the afternoon bombings. And this time it managed to fall right in front of the door, and there was only one entrance. And inside there were several thousand people in there. And the air, of course, was shut off. And then once suddenly you start feeling like you're being wrapped in cotton wool, and then very comfortable, because there's no more oxygen. And then my mother was shaking myself and my brother all the time to keep us awake, because once you fall asleep you never wake up again. And then in the meantime they were trying to dig us out, the German army, from the outside. And when they opened the doors, and it felt like cold air suddenly coming in. Cold air. Everybody woke up who had managed to fall asleep. And we got out of there. And what was there earlier, when we had gone to Linz to something to see a doctor, actually, because I had bone tuberculosis. And we were when the bombers came, they were the English bombers that usually came over Linz over there. We went into a shelter there. But and when they came out of the shelter, there's some of those thief fleegers were still flying around, and we were on the street, and then one of them came down, flying across us, and then just shooting in the street on people, and we happened to be near a railway bridge, and we ran underneath there, so that. We weren't shocked at the time. We didn't get any on us. Then we finally there came from Australia and from New Zealand arrived looking. They were going to assign people taken to be. Because we didn't just run to certain countries, they came and picked us. New Zealand didn't take us because my sickness, my tuberculosis wasn't quite healed yet, and I was still wearing prosthesis. And when Australia came in, then I was supposed to be cured. And Australia took us. And we went first to Italy from Australia. We were in Rieden-Innkreis, that's near Salzburg, a little small town near Salzburg. And we went to Naples from there by train. We had to go through 72 tunnels through the mountains. I wrote my diary there on the way, and it was 72 tunnels going through the mountains. And after 3 weeks in a transit camp in Italy, we got on a ship called Goya to Australia. The first day was very windy, and then going through the Mediterranean. Because we were mostly seasick all the time. And then in the Red Sea, that was very hot there again. And we were watching dolphins following the ship or leading the ship in front. And we arrived there, it took 4 weeks, because we went through the Suez. That I think it was the last ship that actually did go through Suez. The others had to go around. That's about it. We escaped from that.